Here we are at the CDL testing services and school, West Coast Trucking School, and we're going to go through a class called Sight, Speed, and Space. We're going to talk about sight, speed, and space a little bit. Um, no amount of driving skill can make up for an unsafe driving habits. Making the investment in your career to learn and practice safe driving methods from the beginning. Do not let bad habits or bad attitudes of other drivers influence the way you drive. For driving habits that contribute more than anything else does to most accidents involving large trucks, they are failing to maintain proper lookout, driving too fast for conditions, following too closely, and driving while fatigued. Those four things are a major thing towards accidents in large trucks. And what we just said about not letting other people influence the way you drive is a major cause of accidents also. There's a lot of road rage out there, people getting upset. Don't let them upset you and have you drive carelessly. Failing to maintain proper lookout. We are up high in these bigger, larger commercial vehicles. We need to take that to our advantage and look ahead and look out beyond, at least a quarter mile away on the freeway and at least 2 blocks away in the city. Then you can have proper lookout to see what's going on. There's things out there that tell us how to drive, like brake lights and things like that you would like to see. Driving too fast for conditions. Do not drive too fast for conditions. If it's snowing, you need to drive 5 to 10 miles an hour less than the posted speed limit. Raining is the same thing. Even oil on the roads when it's really hot in some of the areas that you're driving in could be a sliding hazard. Following too closely. Following too closely is a bad habit. It takes the proper length of a football field to stop your big truck hauling 80,000 pounds to stop your vehicle in an emergency situation. And that's safely, without sliding sideways. And if you're following too closely to another vehicle, you're not going to be able to react good enough. Driving while fatigued. There's been plenty of times where people drive fatigued. Myself, I have drove fatigued, and I realized that I was fatigued, and I found a place to stop and sleep. Or stop, get out, walk around your vehicle, get yourself a drink of water, use the restroom, get something to eat, a light meal. Heavy meals seem to slow you down a little further. Try not to drive while you're fatigued. Things happen that you don't pay attention to. Okay, sight is how well you can see ahead, behind, and around the vehicle. It also refers to how much attention you pay and what you are looking at and understanding warning signals and possible hazards. Speed is how fast you are moving. It is important to understand that just because you are going the speed limit or below the speed limit, it does not mean you are driving at a safe speed. Posted highway speed limits are maximum speeds designed for cars, not large trucks. Trucks cannot stop as quickly as cars. They tip over more easily. Even 25 miles an hour could be too fast if the road is slippery or traffic is heavy. A professional driver adjusts their speed for weather, traffic, the load, and road conditions. So those are things that you got to take in and look at when you leave for your load. What the weather is, what time of day for the traffic is it, how heavy is your load, how tall is your load, is it top heavy in the trailer, and the road conditions. Are they clear, rainy? So those are things you got to take into consideration. Space is the key element in maintaining following distance. In other words, following distance is how far you are behind the vehicle in front of you. Most drivers do not leave enough following distance. But as a professional driver, you should you should not be one of them. The space in front of you is the best protection you have against accidents. You also need to be aware of the space you need above, below, behind, and to the sides of your vehicle, and anything that is in that space. So, in other words, your new job is to know what is around your vehicle at all times, above, below, in front of you, behind you, and to the sides of your vehicle, to the sides of your trailer. There are three elements: sight, speed, and space. Together, determine the amount of time a driver has to respond to changes in traffic, road conditions, or hazards. It is response time that makes the difference between a close call and a disaster. Take a closer look at how these elements relate to each other and the need to balance them to keep you driving safely. In this example, imagine yourself in a situation where your sight is limited. You might be driving at night or on a foggy day. Now, answer this question: what do you need to do to make up for your limited ability to see well? I wonder what we would need to do. If it was foggy, rainy, couldn't see far ahead, I think the key answer would to be what we talked about a minute ago, of slowing down. The answer to is to reduce your speed and increase your space by slowing down. If you want to increase your speed, you need to make sure that you can see far enough ahead to do it safely, and that you increase following distance to make up for it. So the faster you go, the more space you need between another vehicle. In situations where space is limited, such as in a parking lot, you need to be particularly alert, check your mirrors more often, and drive slowly. In other words, you need to make up for the loss of space by reducing your speed and increasing your attention to the sight. Balancing sight, speed, and space gives you more time you need to drive safely. These key factors and their relationship with response time are at the core of safe driving. Most of the safe driving rules and methods you will be learning are designed to give you the best combination of sight, speed, and space to meet any driving situation safely. Sight management, the art of seeing and being seen. Sight management is the art of being seen and being seen by other drivers. Drivers can only avoid problems that they see coming. What you need to do is to focus on the future. That's looking ahead again. What's in front of you, what's going on in front of you. To develop a search pattern, looking in front of you, from side to side in your mirror, look side to side in your convex mirror, and look behind you in the west and east coast mirrors. Be seen by others. How can we be seen by others? We can use our headlights. We can use all the lights around the vehicle. Turn on all your lights, day or night, fog, rain, snow, anytime. Drive with your lights on. It's easier to be seen. In parking lots, you should drive with your four-way flashers on so that you can be seen in the parking lot easier, and with all your lights on. Not overdrive your vision. Don't drive too fast for how far you can see. See the big picture. Looking out in front of you, far, near, to the side, again, and behind you. Focus on the future. The first rule of sight management is to focus on the future. In other words, when you are driving down the road, your main attention should be on what is ahead of you. On the highway, look at least 12 to 15 seconds ahead of you, approximately a quarter mile. In the city, look beyond the next traffic light. Scan the back. If you cannot see around the vehicle in front of you, drop back to see ahead. In other words, you may need to increase your space to improve your sight. Develop a search pattern. Whether you're during traffic checks in the city or keeping track of things moving down the highway, it is helpful to use an organized search pattern. This way you make sure that you look at everything you need to see often enough to spot trouble. Coming in anticipated the moves of other drivers. Get in the habit of following a regular search pattern as you drive. I know one of the things that I used to do to follow a search pattern was every time I seen a sign on the side of the road, a speed limit sign, a mile marker sign, a curve sign, anything, I would turn my head back and forth and look at my mirrors. If you're looking in your mirrors, you can see everything. If you're not looking in your mirrors, it's like driving with your eyes closed. And I know that nobody here would want to drive with their eyes closed for more than 2 seconds because you cannot see what's around your vehicle. It's like not looking in your mirrors. Search pattern includes looking forward to each side, both near and far, above and below, and at your gauges. Take a direct look out the driver's side window. Check mirrors every 5 to 8 seconds. Move more than your eyes, move your head and your body. Your shoulders and your head should move when you're turning your head to look in the mirror. Be aware of fixed stare. Avoid highway hypnosis. Don't just stare out. If you're thinking you're staring out too far, you might as well have your eyes closed and you better turn your head and look at something. That's where I played the game with the signs. Be seen by others. Just as you want to make sure you're seen by other drivers, you need to make sure they can see you. This means using your headlights and turn signals properly. It is also involves moving slowly and purposely so those around you can tell where you are going. Clearly signal your intent. Signal a minimum of 3 to 5 seconds before making a move. Do not signal too early. Cancel your signal if you decide you cannot move. Signal half a block, minimum 100 feet ahead in the city. Signal even when no one else is around to keep it in a good habit. Do not forget to cancel your signal. Make it a habit of canceling before you shift. Make clear, unhurried moves. Communicate your intent by your position. Make eye contact when possible. Use headlights, running lights, and flashers. Use sound as a signal. Signal danger with a city horn. Avoid using an air horn unless you are out of control. Do not overdrive your vision. You must always be able to stop within the space you can see ahead of you. In other words, if you can only see 300 feet in front of your vehicle, you should not be traveling more than 45 miles an hour in good road conditions. To do so would be the same as driving blindfolded. Use the following tips to avoid overdriving your vision. Be aware that the range and brightness of your headlights will affect your night driving speed. Remember that bad weather, especially fog, can cut down on your ability to see. Winding canyons and heavy traffic limit your ability to see ahead. Keep your windows and mirrors clean and free from ice and frost. Check your windshield wipers properly every day. Every time you stop for fuel, and carry an extra pair so that you can replace them as soon as they get nicked or worn. Check your eyesight regularly and make sure you get the right glasses or contacts. Proper use of your mirrors. Use your mirrors to see what is going on around you other than getting out of your truck to look. Mirrors are the only way to see what is behind you. There are also critical to check before changing speed or making lane changes. Of course, if your mirrors are dirty and improperly adjusted, they will not do you much good. The flat mirror, this type of mirror, is sometimes called the plain mirror or the West Coast mirror. It is where you look to see a gap in distance. It provides good view of the rear of the trailer and the roadway behind. Advantages of the flat view are a good judgment of distance and, to some degree, the speed of overtaking vehicles. Clearly shows amount of gap on sides of vehicle. Field of view is greatest in flat mirror on driver's side. Disadvantages: does not give a wide view. Leaves a blind area in the other lanes alongside most of the length of the vehicle on both sides. Cannot see small vehicles to one side. Convex mirror. This type of mirror is designed with curvature to give a wide angle view. This is where you look to see your reference points when turning and judging whether you are straight and square when backing. Advantages: wider view than a flat mirror, eliminates most but not all of blind area of flat mirrors. The disadvantages is it distorts the images overtaking vehicles by making them appear smaller and further away. Distorts distance from reference points. May trick you into pulling out thinking there is enough gap when there is not enough gap. Seeing the big picture. Just like the detective gathers clues to find out who committed a crime, truck drivers look for clues on and around the road. These clues will tell you in advance about possible dangers you need to watch out for. If you learn to read the clues of the road, you will be able to stop likely problems before they happen. The key is in the seeing ahead and understanding what you see so you can react properly to avoid dangerous situations. There could be road hazards, can come in any size and time from any direction. Some of them look harmless and you may not think of them as a hazard at first. And their road hazards can generally be discussed in three different areas: the road surface itself, things on and around the road, and actions of others using the road. There's things like new asphalt, road surfaces on top of old road surfaces can make the road bigger, higher, and affect clearances. Heavy banked roads, sharp turns, things like that. You need to read the signs that tells you about them. Actions of others using the road. Perhaps most dangerous road hazard are those created by other drivers or pedestrians. Being aware and knowing what to look for can help you avoid many of these man-made hazards. Listed in the following table of examples of these hazards. We got distracted drivers. Drivers with blocked vision could pull out of lanes and pull out. Distracted drivers who are paying attention to something else and not paying enough attention to their driving. Confused drivers. They could be tired, lost, drunk, on drugs, on our roads. Speed management, the key to control. Speed is one of the safe driving triangles that is totally under the driver's control. How well a driver manages speed is the best way to judge his or her knowledge, skill, and professionalism. Professional drivers are more concerned about everyone moving down the road safely than being out of control in front. Drive 5 miles an hour below the posted speed limit. Take curves and ramps at half the speed. Cut speed one-third on wet roads, half the speed on snow. Act like a stone in the stream by driving 2 to 3 miles an hour slower than the traffic. Drive 5 miles an hour slower in parking lots. Never accelerate when backing. Use cruise control safely. If you do these things, your speed management will be pretty much under control. If you don't, you will be out of control in your vehicle and cause an accident.